तेरी कलियां कलियां, तेरी कलियां कलियां. Episode 12. Walk slowly. Episode 12. The law of at the law of least effort. In this award-winning book, Gun, Germs and Steel, anthropologist and biologist J.R. Diamond points out a simple fact. Different continents have different shapes. At first glance, that this statement seems rather obvious and unimportant, but it turns out to have profound impact on human behavior. बुला रही है तुम्हें. This primary simply the primary axis of the Americans runs from north to south. That is, landmass of North and South America tends to be tall and thin rather than wide or fat. The same is generally true for Africa. Meanwhile, the landmass that makes up Europe, Asia, and Middle East is opposite. This this massive stretch of land tends to be more east-west in shape. According to Diamond, this difference in shape played a significant role in the spread of agriculture over the centuries. When agriculture began to spread around the globe, farmers had an easier time expanding along east-west routes than along north-south ones. This is because locations along the same latitude generally share similar climates, amounts of sunlight and rainfall, and changes in season. These factors allowed farmers in Europe and Asia to, to domestic a few crops and grow them along the entire stretch of land from France to China. By comparison, the climate varies greatly when traveling from north to south. Just imagine how different the weather is in Florida compared to Canada. You can be most talented farmer in the world, but it won't help you grow Florida orange in the Canadian winter. Snow in poor substitute for soil. In order to spread crops along north-south routes, farmers would need to find and domesticate new plants whenever the climate changed. As a result, agriculture is spread 2 to 3 times faster across Asia and Europe than it did up down the Americas. Over the span of centuries, this small difference had a very big impact. Increased food production allowed for more rapid population growth. With the more with the more people, these cultures were able to build strong armies, were better equipped to develop new technologies. The changes started uh, small. A crop that is spread slightly farther, a population or compounded into substantial differences over time. The spread of agriculture provides an example of the third law of behavior change. Well, scale conventional wisdom holds that motivation in the TOT habit change. Maybe if you really wanted it, you would actually do it. But the truth is, our real motivation is to be lazy, to do what is convenient. And despite that, the latest productivity bestseller will tell you. This is smart strategy, not a dumb one. Energy is a precious, and the brain is weird to conserve it whenever possible. It is human nature to follow law of least effort, which states that when deciding between two similar options, people will naturally gravitate to the option that requires the least amount of work. For example, expanding your farm to the east where you can grow the same crops rather than heading north where climate is different. Out of all possible actions, we can could group one that is realized that is the one that delivers the most value for the least effort. We are motivated to do where is easy. Every action requires a certain amount of energy. The more energy required, the less likely it is to occur. If your goal is to do 100 push-ups per day, a lot of energy, lot of energy. In the beginning, when you are motivated and excited, you can muster the strength to get started. But after a few days, such a massive effort feels exhausting. Meanwhile, sticking to the habit of doing one push up per day requires almost no energy to get started and less energy a habit requires. The more likely is to occur. Look at any behavior that fills up much of your life and you will see that it can be performed with every low levels of motivation. Habits like scrolling on our phone, checking email and watching television steal so much of our time because they can be performed almost without effort. They are remarkably convenient in a sense. Every habit is just an obstacle to getting what you really want. Dieting is an obstacle to getting fit. Meditation is an obstacle to feeling calm. फीलिंग होता है क्योंकि कहाँ आईएनजी लग जाता है to feeling calm is an obstacle to feeling calm. Journaling is an obstacle to thinking clearly. Oh my God, क्योंकि साथ आईएनजी लग जाता है. Journaling is an obstacle to thinking clearly. You don't actually want the habit itself. What you really want is to outcome the habit. The greater the obstacle, the more difficult the habit. The more friction there is between you and your desired and this is why it is crucial to make your habit so easy that you will do them even when you don't feel like it. If you can make your good habits more convenient, you will be more likely to follow through on them. But what about on the moments when we seek to do the opposite? If we are all so lazy, then how do you explain people accomplishing hard things like raising a child or starting a business or climbing Mount Everest? Certainly, you are capable of doing very hard things. The problem is that some days you feel like doing the hard work, some days you feel like giving it. On the tough days, it's crucial to have as many things working in your favor as possible so that you can overcome the challenges life naturally throws your way. The less friction you face, the easier it is for your stronger self to emerge. The idea behind make it easy is to only do easy things. The idea is to make it easy as possible in the moment to do things that pay off in the long run. How to achieve more with less effort? Imagine you are holding a garden house, you are holding the garden house that is क्या हुआ है? अरे कौन बना रहा है? सुप्रीता। Maybe not holding a garden. How to achieve more with less effort? Oh my god, is this possible? Imagine, 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 imagine. You are holding a garden hose that is bent in the middle. Some water can flow through, but not very much. If you want to increase the rate at which water passes through the hose, you have two options. The first option is to crack up the value and force more water out. The second option is to simply remove the band in the hose and let water flow through naturally. Trying to pump up your motivation to stick with a hard habit is like trying to force water through a bent hose. You can do it, but it requires a lot of effort and increase the tension in your life. Meanwhile, making your habit simple and easy. It's like removing it's like it's like removing the band in the horse rather than trying to overcome the friction in your life. You reduce it. One of the most effective way to reduce the friction associated with your habits is to practice environment design. In chapter 6, we discussed environment design as a method for making cues more obvious, but you can also optimize your environment to make actions easier. For example, when deciding where to practice a new habit, it is best to choose a place that is already along the path of your daily routine. Habits are easier to build when they fit into the flow of your life. You are more likely to go to the gym if it is on your way to work because stopping doesn't add much friction to your lifestyle. By comparison, if the gym is off the path of your normal commute, even by just a few blocks, you are going out of your way get there. Perhaps even more effective is reducing the friction within your home or office. Too often, we try to start habit in high friction environment. We try to follow a strict diet while we are out of the dinner with friends. We try to write a book in a chaotic household. We try to concentrate while using a smartphone filled with distraction. It doesn't have to be this way. We can remove the points of friction that hold us back. This is precisely what electronics manufacturers in Japan began to do in 1970s. In an article published in the New Yorker titled Better All the Time, James Surovicki writes, Japanese firms emphasized what came to be known as lean production, relentlessly looking to remove waste of all kinds from the production process down to redesigning workspaces so workers didn't have to waste time twisting and turning to reach their tools. The result was that Japanese factories were more efficient and Japanese products were more reliable than American ones. In 1974, service calls the American made color television were 5 times as common as Japanese television. By 1979, it took American workers 3 times as long to assemble their sets. I like to refer this strategy as addition by subtraction. The Japanese companies looked for every point of friction in the manufacturing process and eliminated it. As they subtracted wasted effort, they added customer and revenue. Similarly, when we remove the points of friction that save our time and energy, we can achieve more than less effort. This is one reason tidying up can feel so good. We are simultaneously moving forward and lightening the cognitive load our environment places on us. If you look at the most habit forming product, you will notice that one of the things these goods and services do best is remove little bit of friction from your life. Meal delivery service reduce the friction of shopping for groceries, taking app reduces the friction, taking social ride sharing service reduce the friction of getting across town. Text messaging reduce the friction of sending a letter in the mail. Like Japanese television manufacturer redesigning their workspace to reduce wastage. Successful companies design their products to automate, eliminate, and simplify as many steps as possible. They reduce the number of fields on each form. They pare down the number of clicks required to create an account. They deliver their product with easy to understand direction and ask their customer to make your choice. When the first voice activated speaker were released, products like Google Home, Amazon Echo, Amazon Apple HomePod. I asked friend why what he liked about the product he had purchased. Said it was he said it was easier to say play some country music than to pull out his phone, open the music app, and pick a playlist. Of course, just a few years earlier, having unlimited access to music in your pocket was a remarkably frictionless behavior compared to driving to the store and buying a CD. Business is never-ending quest to deliver the same same result in an easier fashion. Similar strategies have been used effectively by government when the British government wanted to increase tax collection rate. This is from sending citizen to a web page where the tax form could be downloaded to link directly to the form, reducing that one step in the process increase responsibility 2% to 23.4%. For a country like United Kingdom, those percent points represent millions in tax revenue. The central idea is to create an environment where the right thing is easy as possible. Much of the better habits comes down to finding way to reduce the friction associated with our good habits and increase the friction associated with our bad ones. Crime the environment when our future grows तो ज़्यादा ही बड़ा है ये Crime the environment for future use. Oswald Nicholas is an IT developer from NetSafe, Mississippi. He is he is also someone who understands the power of priming his environment. Knuckles dialed in his cleaning habits by following a strategy he refers to as resetting the room. For instance, when he finishes watching a television, he places a remote deck on the TV and arranges the pillow on the couch and folds the blanket. When he leaves his car, he tests whenever he takes a shower, he wipes the plate while the shower is warming, as he knows the perfect time to clean the toilet is right before you wash yourself in the shower anyway. The purpose of resetting each room is not simply to clean up after the last section, but to prepare for the next section. When I walk into the room and everything is in the right place, knuckles rub, because I do this every day in every room. Stuff always stays in good shape. People think I work hard, but I am actually really lazy. I'm just practicing. I'm just proactively lazy. It gives you so much time back. Whenever you organize a space for its intended purpose, you are priming to it to make the next section easy. For instance, my wife keeps a box of greeting cards that are pre-sorted by occasion, birthday, sympathy, wedding, graduation, and more. Whenever, whenever necessary, grabs. She grabs an appropriate card and send it off. She is incredibly good at remembering to send cards because she has reduced the friction of doing so. For years, I was the opposite. Someone would have a baby, and I would think I should send a card, but then weeks would pass, and by the time I remembered to pick one up at the store. It was too late. The habit wasn't easy. There are many ways to prime your environment so it's ready for immediate use. If you want to cook a healthy breakfast, place the skillet on the stove, set the cooking display on the counter, and lay out any plates and utensils pencils you will need the night before. When you wake up, making breakfast will be easy. Want to draw more? Put your pencil and pens, notebooks, and drawing tools on top of your desk within easy interaction. Want to exercise? Set out your workout clothes, shoes, gym bag, and water bottle ahead of time. Want to improve your diet? Chop up a ton of fruits, vegetables on weekends and pack them in the container so you have easy access to healthy, ready to eat option during the week. These are simple way to make the good habit the path of least resistance. You can also invert this principle and prime the environment to make bad behaviors difficult. If you find yourself watching too much television, for example, unplug it after each use. Only plug it back in if you can say out loud the name of show you want to watch. This setup creates just enough friction to prevent mindless swing. If that doesn't do it, you can take it a step further. Unplug the television, take the batteries out of the remote after each use so it takes extra 10 seconds to turn it back on. And if you are really hardcore, move the television out living room and into a closet after each use. You can be sure you will only take it out when you really want it to watch something. The greater friction, the less likely the habit was something the greater friction. Whenever possible, I leave my phone in a different room until lunch. When it's right next to me, I will check it all morning for no reason at all. But when it is in another room, I really think about it, and then the friction is high enough that I won't get it without a reason. As a result, I get there to 4 hours each morning when I can work without interaction. If sticking your phone is in another room doesn't seem enough, tell a friend to hide it from you, or if you ask a coworker to keep it at their desk in the morning and give it to back and you at lunch. It is remarkable how little friction is required to prevent unwanted behavior. When I hide here in the back of the fridge where I can't see it, I drink less. When I delete social media apps from my phone, it can be weeks before I download them again and log in. These tricks are unlikely to cover to addiction, but for many of us, little bit of friction can be difference between sticking with good habit or sliding into a bad one. Imagine the cumulative impact of making dozen of these changes and living environment design and to make the good behaviors easier and the bad behaviors harder. Whether we are approaching behavior change as an individual, a parent, a coach, a leader, we should ask ourselves the same question. How can we design a world where it's easy to do what's right? Redesign your life so the action that matter most are also the action that are easiest to complete करना है बस